Welcome back to Frenzy Extra. We're inside the studio now to break down some of those top games we just talked about, and we have Jim Wilson with us from the Telegram-Gazette, the sports editor from Home Team Magazine as well. And Jim, thanks for coming in. A rare chance for us to talk.
I know. It's like I feel like Brick with who is this person?
Seriously, this is a rare chance, but we're well past the halfway point.
I can already see the professionalism.
I tell you about it. This is what we're trying. We're well past the halfway point. And have you figured out the season yet?
No.
Every week I get who's the best team in Central Mass. It was like Leominster, yeah, but who is the best team?
Well, that's the problem. You're leaving, okay, well, Leominster, then Franks goes down. Now it's like everybody's game. Then St. John's has an early loss. Like, okay, well, now are they the best? And then, Neshoba comes up and they start kicking people around. So we have 4 teams in the top 10 splitting #1 votes.
Right.
So that shows what kind of a year it's been, because it's not, and I like the years like this. It sucks for my picks, but I mean, for the end of time, it's nice to have Wachusett is going to win this week and Neshoba's going to win that week. You never know, so which is great. Somebody's
potentially has to go, right, with Leominster and Neshoba this week, and that's one of the big ones. We have big matchups across the board.
Huge weekend.
This is a big one. And Leominster and Neshoba maybe not overshadow anyone else, but this is a big one. And can Neshoba and their young speed guys hold up with Leominster?
That's what it's going to come down to, because I think Neshoba, especially 28-0 over Marlborough. And Marlborough's a very good team. That was a big if the Shepherd Hill win the week before wasn't a statement win, this one opened up a lot of eyes. I think Neshoba, I say all year, they don't have like a typical playmaker. They don't have like a Shartner or a Toon out there that people are like ripping their hair out trying to figure out how we stop this guy. And I think it makes them more dangerous, because you have Jake Benjamin, converted wide receiver, done a great job in the backfield, changing pace. Mike Curtin leads a monstrous line. They match up well against Leominster, especially without Franks.
Yeah.
Because that's a big weapon. Leominster, they had a tight win against Wachusett, came down to a point after that was missed. They blew out Westboro last week. So hopefully that means they're getting back on track in the new age offense without that. And, Dave Palazzi is going to find holes.
You give Dave Palazzi a couple of weeks, he can plug a hole, even if it is Derek Franks.
That's what makes it interesting. And see what kind of Leominster team shows up. Because I think this is a really tough Neshoba team. They can hang with them. They definitely beat, over the lines. It'd be a good battle. But I think Neshoba has a chance to really, get those, surpass Leominster in this one.
Saw the middle part of the Marlborough game. It was 7-0 Neshoba, and Marlborough was driving. They were inside the 10-yard line with under a minute to play in the first half, and Neshoba came up with a defensive stop. They went on to shut out Marlborough and kind of pulled away a little bit in the second half. All right, St. Peter Marion and Northbridge.
Huge game.
The guys down at Northbridge, the guys who've been seeing games in Northbridge for 20, 30 years, 40 years.
The Danny Brown era.
They have been talking about this one for a couple of weeks. Northbridge hasn't given up a point yet.
Nope.
But this has got to be the top team that they've faced so far.
This is their string. They play Tantascwa next week. They play Leicester. They play Uxbridge on Thanksgiving. So I think this is the start of their big grind to the schedule. And a lot of people will say, well, Northbridge is a great team, but who have they played? Well, I mean, Auburn, Grafton. I think those are great wins for them, especially for Northbridge. But I mean, this is a big one for both teams. This is like a king of the mountain type of game. St. Peter Marion knows coming out and shutting down Northbridge will put a big feather in their cap.
I had people asking me last week, scratching heads, how is Leicester ahead of Northbridge in the power rankings?
It's all math.
It's all math. I said, listen, I'm a communications guy.
I know.
I don't do math.
I became a reporter, so I didn't have to do math.
Right,
which is ironic.
Northbridge, their offense, they can spread it out, but it's their defense, and Mike Quinn and Keenan Konama, they have done so much work. They like to shut people out. I think that'll be a tall ask this week against Danny Malm and some of the guys that St. Peter Marion has going for them.
And the win over Tantascwa last week for St. Peter Marion was a big one, because Danny Malm had a heck of a game.
Yeah.
I mean, Tommy Hendrickson's been talking about him all season as being a guy that they're happy to pass the torch to at the end of the year. Unfortunately, he had to do it a little sooner than they thought with the injury to Seamus Leary. But, I mean, he had a great game against Tantascwa. They beat another previously undefeated team. 6 weeks in a row, undefeated team comes to face St. Peter Marion, so they're ready. So I think they had a good game going into it. But again, I mean, on paper, stopping Northbridge, easier said than done. A lot of teams have thought they had the plan, and next thing you know, it's 35-0 in the JVs are in the third quarter.
We thought we had it sorted out in the top 10 in Central Mass, and then Shepherd Hill wins over Wachusett.
Right.
And at 1-4, they're in the top 10.
Leaving them for dead, and they come back with a huge win.
Yeah, word is they're one of the best teams in the division. They probably won't make the playoffs. I haven't done the math. But they've got Fitchburg this week and another chance to knock off a Division II team, which would look pretty good. But Fitchburg's They're winning games. Now,
2 wins in a row.
granted, they're winning games against teams outside, not winning teams right now.
Right.
But they're a team that can get rolling like they did last season.
That's what matters. I mean, last year was the same way. Last year, it's not like they went out and started beating some gorillas right off the bat. They got those confidence-building wins. They had some changes to their offense and the defense. They moved some people around. They sort of got those wins piling up. Next thing you know, it snowballed. And I think that's what Shepherd Hill was hoping to do when they thought the playoffs would be 8 games and they went in that schedule. Now all of a sudden, no, it's 4 games, and now they're chasing wins, which I'm sure is a great conspiracy theory down in Dudley. But I mean, what it comes down to is the Fitchburg, they have those 2 wins over Shrewsbury and North Middlesex. That was good for their confidence. They can come back. They're looking to do the same thing because they're not completely out of it yet.
There might be some in Dudley that say, why are we playing this schedule? No. But, you go to compete every single week. You want to play the iron. Why not?
They're happy to do it. They're
happy to do it, yeah.
They don't want to go in and get one of those, those pride wins over a 1-7 team and get those power ranking points. They'd rather go in there and, play smash mouth football against St. John's and Leominster and get the loss but become better for it. I mean, that's like when it was 8, if it was 8 teams in this playoffs again, they would probably sneak in as like a 7 or 8 seed and do what Fitchburg did last year. I still think they're probably the best team in Division 4.
Maybe 5 years ago, you'd say Doherty's a surprise right now.
No.
But maybe not anymore.
They're a program.
They're a program
Look at the
now.
D1 players.
Oh.
The Mulcahy machine.
Man.
Just churning them out.
Another challenge for them this week.
Yeah. This is a big one. I think that they're looking for, coming against the Tasquith team that lost last week, they're looking to get revenge. It's going to be a good athlete, a bunch of athletes. Howland is just a monster.
He's big.
Big boy. They've been trying to get him on from the basketball team for years. They finally convinced him, and he's showing, it was a great pursuit because we had a shot in the paper last week by Chris Christo with him just over P.J. Barry and getting that touchdown catch. I mean, he's just a playmaker. And it'd be tough to see if Doherty has anybody to man up against him.
I saw Fitu Melifonwu go against Howland earlier this year, and it was an outstanding matchup. I can't believe how big Howland is. He's a basketball player, yeah, but now he's a power forward or a 5 in hoops.
Exactly. He's a big dude.
He's put some bulk on. And, maybe Aaron Adu and some of those guys, they can elevate. They can get out there and play defense against them. But Steve Bicciali's defense isn't going to give a quarterback a lot of time to throw the ball. I
think they like the challenges. I think Doherty's defensive line might be one of the best in Central Mass just because they're not going to give Choquette any chance to really sort of get settled. He's going to be running, throwing on the run a lot, trying to find, he might have looked for his 3rd read by the time it's all said and done because he's not going to have time. He's looking at everybody to be covered by the time these 250-pound monsters are chasing him down.
There's some teams kind of hanging out on the edge of rolling a little bit. Holy Name's won 3 in a row.
Big game against Algonquin.
And they got a big one. And Algonquin's won a lot of games. Are you waving the flag for the hometown?
Free Dick Walsh. Free Dick Walsh.
Is going on?
Travesty. Don't even get me started. That's a whole that's for a Frenzy After Dark.
That is, tune into YouTube to see the rest of that one. But, Algonquin's got it going a little bit, and this should be a pretty good contest to see where both these teams really fit right now.
Another game that I think Algonquin's looking, we talked about Fitchburg getting rolling. Algonquin's doing the same thing. Great win last week. They played 70 kids. They had, make the parents happy over in Northborough, Southborough. They're getting those that everybody's been playing because they had such a comfortable win. But Holy Name with Mensa is just a monster. I mean, we're not talking about him very often, but I think if he was anywhere else, he would be a huge factor. He's just he's tough to stop. He's giving people headaches.
I almost forgot St. John's Wachusett this week.
How about that?
I mean, how can you forget about it?
I know.
These two teams don't like each other.
Nope.
Mike Dobzinski won't wear red probably all year long. None of his staff will. If his son is wearing a red jacket, he probably has to take it off.
Sleeping in the backyard.
And the Pioneers, they're everybody's like bullseye.
Right.
And they're coming in playing good football. Tim Cassidy seems to have it going right now.
We say it every year. This is the one for both sides of the ball. This is one of those games that they go 1-11. This is what they want their one to be. It's one of those things they don't care. They want it to be, people will be limping after this one.
You shocked if Wachusett wins this game?
No. Just because
there's no surprise in
the
what's
way
going
things
on.
are going,
Right.
and I think Cassie's playing well. St. John's has been rolling ever since that Week 2 loss. They're looking good. They're putting the pieces together. They're starting to get a great backfield together. McBrien's been doing a very good job. Both sides of the ball. The defense is great. But then in Wachusett, after a couple tough losses, their backs are so they need these. If they get these points from this win, they're back in the playoff picture.
They're right back in it. McCarthy on Wachusett. He's one of the best athletes in the school. He might be one of the best athletes in Central Mass all the way around, 3-sport guy. All right, so all this is happening this week.
Huge weekend.
Are we going to have any other clearer picture next week?
No, because that's what it comes down. Because then it comes down to if this team beats this team in Week 7, it's going to be a whole nother. Just shake the balls.
Is this what it's all about though? Is this good or bad?
Well, people can ask me, why aren't you doing a power rankings like Weeks 1 and 4? Because it's tough enough to do in Week 5 because it just doesn't matter. You have teams like Nipmunk who was like the 3rd seed in Division 5 last week, or 4 rather, and then all of a sudden they get a big loss to Northbridge and they're back down to out of the playoffs.
And you make your picks in the Telegram and Gazette.
I do.
And they get put on bulletin boards across Central Massachusetts.
I hate, I pick a team week 1. Yep. I hate them.
Call Jim Wilson.
Oh, it's awful.
They're calling here asking for you.
The points. I don't know why they make me do points. Like, I know somebody's going to score 35. If I pick you to lose by more than 2 touchdowns, I'm thinking getting smoked. It's a pro tip.
All right, so we won't figure anything out this week, perhaps, but we do know we've got 4 or 5 really big-time showdowns. We'll have it all for you. We have Westboro and Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury only has 1 win, but they've played an iron schedule already.
That's right. The Midwatch A.
They've got a chance to maybe pick up some ground here if they can get by Westboro.
Another one of those teams, they're probably out of the playoff picture at this point just because of Midwatch A. We talked about, right there, there's 4 teams, but you're going to have Leominster, Neshoba, Shepherd Hills, and Marlboro. There's going to be good teams in that Division 2 that are going to get knocked out. They deserve to be in there, but they're not one of the 4 best by power rankings. Yeah. So I think playing that schedule for Shrewsbury is tough, but they get better every week. They're starting to put things together. This Westboro week could start something.
It's a fun year when guys like Mulcahy have it going well.
Right.
Griff's got it going well. Rossi's got it going well.
Griff says he has a good team. It's great.
You've got a lot of good characters. Things are going well for them right now, but their kids are playing good football, so it's been fun so far.
Exactly. I love games like this. Leicester-Uxbridge, another one. Another big game.
Leicester-Uxbridge, the Uxbridge team can throw the football all over the football field.
Big test for them. Yeah. They had a great win against Southbridge last week. I thought it'd be closer. They ended up skunking them. And Southbridge essentially did a shutout. They scored in the last play of the game. But if they had, that was a good we're for real win that Uxbridge needed, and they're gonna need it because Leicester is just for Malachi Sealy. It's just for they just have a great bunch of athletes.
Yeah, Griff's got a wagon right now. They're playing pretty well. They'll get tested in a couple weeks with Northbridge.
West Boylston, Maynard.
West Boylston, Maynard. Harold Ogilvy's going to be jacked and pumped.
We're there, Harold. Trust me, I got somebody there for you.
He's going to be there if Jim's not there or the Telegram's not there. Harold's going to call me and ask why you weren't there.
I'm on the leash on the desk. I'm tweeting out all the scores and everything.
All right, sounds good.
Promoted too much.
Sounds good. Jim Wilson from the Telegram and Gazette and Home Team Magazine. Thanks so much. Good talk.
Anytime. Come back next week.
We'll see you next week on the Frenzy Extra. Yeah. All right. We're back with more after this.